Wholeo Dome opened to the public on March 21st, 2025, for the first time in 10 years. It was quite an exciting event and very well attended by the artist Marilyn and her daughter Elizabeth Geary Archer, and many farm members and their neighbors. Following the opening at the Dome, a celebration was held at the farm's community center with music and speeches and a feast. Thank you.
Whoa, we got you.
If you came to the open house, thank you. And I hope that you were delighted as we are that it rose again. So the name of this evening's celebration is Wholeo Rising. And we're going to start it off with two delightful girls here holding up the lyrics because this is a sing-along. It's Beethoven, Ludwig von, and he wrote in German, but we're singing it as Pete Seeger wrote it. We like it like that. All right.
Build a road of peace before us, build it wide and deep and long. Speed the slow, remind the eager, help the...
Eclipse taken over 2 years' time as this dome rose again from just a few people sitting around my kitchen table thinking about how the heck are we ever going to get it up again, get the farm to approve it up again, if we cannot cover it and cover it well and totally transparently. So you're going to see in this movie exactly how we pulled that off, and it was a long, challenging journey. After the Wholeo String Quartet led a sing-along, a 16-minute documentary called Wholeo Rising was shown. It tells the story of the 8 years that a dedicated crew spent in repairing and restoring and finally in reinstalling Wholeo Dome on the farm, including all the trials and tribulations and the ultimate triumph. 4 young members of the crew were invited to the mic to speak about their participation. Mark Hubbard was born and raised on the farm. As a young man of 29, Marilyn Geary trained him to repair and install the Wholeo panels at the farm school, the first installation.
Sunny days, just soaking in the light and the colors and bringing people to see it. I don't see my good friends. It was a vortex for Laura and Trevor, my neighbors and best friends, to come to the farm. They were planning on moving to California and saw Wholeo on Instagram and decided, let's check that out on our way. And they showed up, and they're still here. 2 kids later, they haven't left. They bought a house and put down stakes. It's been a pleasure reconnecting with it in the second building, the re-rising, the Wholeo coming again, round 4, I guess. It's round 2 for us, but 4 total. And it's been a blessing to just be part of the crew, helping get it together. And So big thanks to Caroling for bringing it all together, and a huge thanks to Marilyn for being the benefactor to make it all happen. It's been a true blessing to be part of it, and thank you all.
Raven Larson was born and raised on the farm.
I was born here in 1980, lived here off and on for most of my life. And yeah, it's a blessing to be a part of such beauty, and I'm really grateful to see that it is being revived once again. I had some really beautiful times as a child or a youth, a young adult in that space, and enjoying the light and the way that it really works its magic as it comes through the space. And so it was really cool when Kenny came and asked me to help be a part of the laying of the block for the stairway in particular. It was fun because I when he asked me to help, I had no idea first what he was asking me for, and he was so excited telling me about the dome that I'm looking at the space, and I'm like, but this doesn't look like a circle. And he was like, oh, but you're gonna build the stairs. And I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. And then he started explaining to me what it was that Jason had designed to like make it so everybody could go in there and not have to hurt their knees, or really ingenious way to not have it so high off the ground. So really cool, and grateful to be a part of this project and a part of the community, and to see it revived once again. So thank you again.
Thanks, Raven.
Fuse, Teresa White, joined the farm as a skilled glass artist.
My journey with the farm originally started in 2016 when I came here to do a class with Jason on photovoltaics. And my first introduction to the Wholeo Dome happened during that weekend workshop. I was hanging out with Laura and Trevor, and they had videos of them playing music and singing in the Wholeo Dome. And so virtually I got to see it. I got to almost be there. It felt like you were there. You were in it with them, and you could feel like the energy of it. But about maybe 6 months later, I was down at the swim hole, and I ran into a friend of Marilyn's, and she was telling me about the Wholeo Dome. And at that moment, I knew that was exactly where my very individual shaped piece of the puzzle fit perfectly. So I got to be hands-on with repairing every single piece of the broken parts and helping to kind of like install every piece. So thank you all for being here and being part of it.
Thank you.
Jason Deptula kept watch over the panels during the 10 years of storage and lent his extraordinary skill and enthusiasm to the project.
So I remember when the Wholeo first came around, I was helping Francesco build the ring. I didn't know what we were doing yet, but I just knew that there was a stained glass project, and I was a little confused at first, but we put it together and helped put the ring together. And I came back later when it was all done. I wasn't part of the first round of putting it together, but I was amazed. And as a tour guide, I would bring people through and thought, man, I need to really spend some time here. This light is magical. This is an amazing thing. And then next thing you know, it was, we had to take it down because, the lead. And I had heard rumors of plans of like maybe picking it up in one piece or trying to, or maybe it'll just never, there was all these different views about how to do it. And I felt I needed to kind of get involved because I really wanted to see it like be preserved and another building put around it. And there was a long time. It didn't seem like it was going to happen, but we managed to, store all the panels safely and go from there, and we went from there. And next thing you know, we were buying this huge building from China and figuring it out like an erector set without instructions and, just these little quick sped up videos. But it was a fun challenge, but the whole time it was just truly inspiring, and just I feel so, like these guys said, just really grateful that it was our gift to resurrect, and it was like something that we just really had to keep going and figure out because it just felt so special, and it's a magical manifestation that we're we're very proud to have. And thank you all for coming out tonight. This is amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Here to call Caroline, the artist, to the mic.
I don't know what to say. I just wondered, does anybody have a question that I could answer? Yes? Biko?
I was reading that some of the inspiration in each panel, you know, like what you were thinking about, learning about psychology or different things that are in the dome. I'm curious, now that you've seen it in its newest incarnation, what are your hopes for it, or what do you hope that it communicates moving forward through time to like each generation that comes through?
Okay, it's the search for the whole self. That's why it's called the Wholeo. And it's color healing, first of all. I mean, I was totally inspired as a glass artist, you know, working in a studio making church windows, seeing this colored light, but it never was used really as colored light. I mean, they were just pictures and everything. So I wanted to be in that colored light, and I know that people, when they walk in there, when the sun is shining and in different times, I mean, you're going to see it when the sun rises, when it's high, when it sets, when the moon comes up. You're going to keep going in there and have a new experience. Every day it's going to be a different cloud or a different bird or something. So it'll never be over for you. And that was one of the things that I loved about having a building rather than, you know, some drawing in some museum or something. So I felt so happy to be able to do this dream thing, you know, and everything seemed to open up for me. And I think it will for you too. I mean, you might look around and wonder what this is all about, but it'll come to have meanings for you.
Thank you.
Elizabeth's daughter wants a question.
Yes, so I'm asking this for other people to hear because I remember what happened when it happened, and it was so meaningful for me. But when you heard from Marilyn Harris that the farm community was going to resurrect Wholeo, how did you feel? What happened? Talk about it.
Well, it was so wonderful to think that maybe my dream really would be established. See, it was never done until this moment when it's on the ground, on concrete with a cover and stairs and people who love it and will take care of it. You know, it was never done till then. And
You cried.
I cried. See, she knows.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to these people, to Marilyn and to the next generation and everyone who worked?
Oh, I guess I should say thank you, shouldn't I?
We should thank you.
I mean, without you, it almost never happened. So this is making it happen. Thank you very much, every one of you. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama.
Should we eat to that?
Carolyn's daughter, Elizabeth Geary Archer, came to the mic to remember her mother and the beginning of the project.
It was amazing, and we had to till the land to make it flat to build the first dome for us to live in. And Mom was so creative. I don't know how she did it, but she did research. Her big mentor was Buckminster Fuller, and I remember, and I can't remember where in the timeline of things, we traveled to Denver, Colorado, to see him speak. And I remember being in the big hall, and I was too young to understand what he was talking about, but I remember going, and everyone, it was like hallowed ground. So there are so many mentors in this process for Mom, and Buckminster Fuller is like her spiritual dad and spiritual guidance. And he was such, and I remember she'd have these whole earth catalogs. I don't know if any of you read them. And they were always laying around, and she was always researching. And always had a big desk with colored pencils and colored ink and pens, and she was always sketching and drawing and meditating and doing yoga and talking to other artists and getting ideas and being inspired. And we'd go to museums, and she'd have dreams and she'd write them down, and she'd always have some new character. She's written several books and some new thought, and inspired by Alice in Wonderland. And so I was watching all of this as a little girl, and to be honest, I thought she was a little witchy, a little weird, but she was my mom, and I loved her, and now I think I can understand it and appreciate it a lot more. I don't know, you all had this wonderful team, you had each other, but she just had herself. And it was just herself, keeping herself motivated and keeping going over 7 years journey of making this happen. And if you saw them trying to put the panel up, there were like 4 people there helping each other, and you just see this woman on this ladder doing it by herself and twisting those wire ties and making it happen. It's just amazing. You're an amazing woman, and I'm so honored to be your daughter. And thank you. And I also want to say thank you, because Wholeo is like my sister or my brother, my whole sister brother. And when I realized that Wholeo was packed away, I never thought it would rise again, and you all made it happen, and I'm just so grateful. It's just so amazing. And I remember when Mom got the news and she posted on Facebook, she's like, I'm crying, It was just an amazing moment for our family. And I'm so grateful that there's this, it's not like you just put it up and you're leaving it. I feel like there's, between Jason and Fuse and Mark and everyone here, that you want to keep it on, that you want to keep it going, and that you'll train the next generation, and that Wholeo might have a hope in this world. And it's really wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Patrick Montaigne and Kenny Breckenridge didn't speak at the grand opening, so I asked them to come by and talk about their experience of Wholeo at the Dome on a sunny day.
My wife Vicki and I were some of the first contactees with Carol and Gary about the Wholeo. My wife was one of the first champions of bringing it here, and when Caroline started to set up and erect it, she needed help, which I supplied, among others, and she needed someone that she could teach the basic elements to keep it in good repair. So I, along with Mark Hubbard, learned those first repair methods.
Well, about 12, 14 years ago, when I came back to the farm, I came across the Wholeo when it was set up in front of the farm school, and crawled underneath there to get in. You just had a little 2-foot space between the ground and the Wholeo to get in there, and was amazed. I wasn't really searching for anything or looking for anything. It was just such a unique piece of art.
I think the most impressive thing about it is that after being damaged and having the structure damaged at a separate incident, and then stored and then moved and then repaired, that it all came back together again. That's almost miraculous.
Yeah, thinking about I just know what it took our crew to put it all together, and then to think about Caroline and doing everything herself, thinking about it, designing it, making it. installing it, it's incredible, for sure.
It was a labor of love for her.
Yeah, yeah. And then to have Marilyn come along and realize the value of it and willing to motivate the crew, and that was another missing piece that fit in the puzzle very well. And then the individuals that we had a Fuse being the stained glass expert, and you and Mark having your past experience, and Jason and his engineering, and everybody worked together and made it come together. It was great.
An epic achievement, I believe.
Yeah.
May generations be inspired by Wholeo and healed in its colored light.